Alright, what's up, guys? So this is part 3 of Paranormal Adventures, Grandpa's House, for episode, I think, 6. So basically this one I'm just going to do the last experiences that I ever had at the house, including the very last one, and then kind of like what happened, and all that stuff. So my grandpa died in 2013, so the last experience was in the second house that he lived in, and that house was the last house I had experience with him in any house, because obviously in 2013 he died. My last experience was in 2010, because he moved there in 2009. This is probably going to be the quickest episode of the entire series, the entire show, just because this experience is very close to me, because it was the very last one I ever had with Grandpa. So Grandpa and I were sitting down, and so I guess I'll do the final experience in the first house. So the last experience I ever had, I was sitting down with Grandpa. We were watching Monday Night Raw, and all of a sudden, the TV mutes. I'm like, that's weird. So he unmutes it, mutes again, weird, so he unmutes it, then turns off, turns it back on. So he thought it was batteries, so he changed the batteries, kept on happening, and then all of a sudden it goes back to normal. Because when it was happening, it felt like every 30 seconds something was happening to the TV. So all of a sudden, the stereo blares on. So he unplugs everything, and he actually plugs it into another outlet nearest to the TV. And the stereo does it again. So because of the way it's switching like stations, he thought it was the controller. So we look at the controller, and actually all the batteries are taken out. So it can't be the controller. So we still don't know what that was. The last experience for my parents at that house was seeing red eyes in the forest. I already told you guys that. My sister and I did a investigation at the new house in 2009 when he first moved in. We did like an investigation. That was fun because Grandpa got involved a little bit. That was really fun. Got some voices and all that stuff, some weird stuff. But the last experience I ever had, once again, had to do with the stereo. So we were once again watching Monday Night Raw because he got me into wrestling in October of 2000. Got me in. The first thing I ever saw of wrestling was in October of 2000. It was a promo between Chris Jericho and The Rock. And so all of a sudden, we're watching, and all of a sudden the stereo just blares loud. And what was weird was that this is kind of sad, but it's kind of cool that this was the last experience that I had. Even though my grandpa was alive for almost 4 years after this experience, this was the last experience I've had. I'm glad that this was the last one. So the stereo turns on, and the song that plays, Grandpa's like, wait. I was like, what? Because I was 14 at this point, in 2009, 2010, around that point, 2010, yeah. I was born in 96, so 2010. And he said that, wait a second. I said, what? I said, you don't want me to turn it off? He says, no. I'm like, what's wrong? He says, that was your grandma's favorite song. It was by Patsy Cline. And it was Grandma's favorite song. And I played it, and he cried a little bit. I got teared up a little bit. He was like, wow. And he said, thank you. And then it just stopped. And that was really cool. And I'm glad that was the last experience I ever had with Grandpa. But yeah, so that's it for the Grandpa's house. Next part, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to try and get permission to go to this location. If not, then I'm just going to give it a whole different name and get the history of it and all that stuff. But yeah, so make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.